So I've gotten logged into Canvas here, and I went to the announcements where I announced that I was attaching the course data. I'm in student view, so this is how you guys would see it as well. And all I need to do is download the data from Canvas. And so it's right here. It's this GIS103.zip. All I have to do is click on it. It'll then download into my download folder, okay? And then I am going to go grab it and move it into another folder here. So you should grab it, copy it, and paste it into a GIS103 folder, which I actually did ahead of time here. So it's like I went and grabbed it. I created a folder called GIS103. I called mine 2024 because I've got quite a few of these on my computer. And it's under my data folder on my D drive. Yours can be on your C drive or your desktop. And I just pasted that zip file into that folder. Okay, and I've got the lecture notes here. And so now what I do is I right click on it. I go to extract all. It's then asking me, hey, where do you want to put this? And I'm going to tell it I want to put it in my GIS103 folder. That's great. And extract. It's then pulling all the data out of that zipped file. It was compressed. And so now you'll see that if I go to my GIS 2024 folder, I've got two GIS103s in there, one that's zipped and one that's not zipped. I can now, because this one's a copy, I can delete the zipped one. And now this one's got my data in it. I don't really love the fact, no, I'm okay with this. Yeah, so I've just got a GIS103 underneath my GIS103 2024. That's fine. If you're OCD about that, you can actually just pull everything that's in here out and then delete that. Which I can, oh, there's another one. Okay, so you don't have to do this, but I'm going to click one, hold shift and click all of the bottom one, and then I will copy it, bring it out to here, paste these there. Okay, and then I will delete this one. Okay, didn't change anything, just moved it all out farther up the file structure. And let's add actually, we can actually delete this MXD's file folder. We don't need those anymore. And that's okay, the rest of that's okay. And then let's right click in the white area, go to new folder, and let's create a results folder. And this is the one that you guys will copy, you'll zip it up, and you'll send it to me when your assignments are due. So the first assignment's due around halfway through the class. Second assignment's due at the end of the term. You'll just zip this up and I'll be able to just grade the whole thing then. And so let's go inside the results folder and let's create a week _1_2. Okay, so I'm using underscores because this is important when dealing in GIS. When you're either dealing with geospatial data or paths to those data, thou shalt never, this is one of the 10 commandments in GIS, thou shalt never, ever use spaces. It messes the software up to do that, so here I know that this is going to have data in it, so I used underscores instead of spaces. I'm saying this is week 1 and 2. You don't want to use hyphens either. You don't want to use any special characters like ampersand, pound sign, as you guys call hashtag, @ sign. Don't use anything like that. You want to, and you don't ever want to begin this with a number actually either. So week 1 and 2, and this is where we're going to save our stuff for today, because this exercise will cover the first 2 weeks. It's technically, I guess it's technically week 3, 2, and 3, but week 1 was just 1 day, so I'm counting this as week 1 and 2. And if I refer to it as 2 and 3, I'm sorry, but it's just the way it is. So I download the data, I unpacked it, and now I posted in this announcement with this video, there is a link to another video that shows you how to download ArcGIS Pro, and you can do it as long as you have your ArcGIS online username and password. And so if you have any trouble with that, it does not work on iOS. There are some workarounds, like I said, but you've got to figure those out on your own. We can't really help you with that. And then also, if you are struggling to install the software, the best resource is to call Esri themselves. So that's the company that produced it. Call their technical support, and they can actually walk you through it much easier than I can ever help you. I'm not really supposed to help you guys with your own machines, your own computers. And so if you're having any trouble with installing the software, which you shouldn't because you don't have any other versions of it on your computer, it's a lot more difficult to install if you have other versions. But if it's your first one, then it should be pretty smooth. But if you do have any issues, let Esri's technical support know. Tell them you're taking a GIS class. You have access to ArcGIS Online, which means you should be able to download the software. Okay, having said that, I'm going to open up ArcGIS Pro. So if you don't have it downloaded yet, pause the video, go do that, and then follow us. So I go to the start button, and I search for ArcGIS. There it is in all of its glory, and we will let it run. Might take a few moments to open up, especially the first time if it hasn't been open for a little while. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do, you don't have to do this, but I think it's pretty awesome, is I'm going to put mine into dark mode. So I'm going to go over here to settings, and I'm going to go to options, and then I'm going to go down to general, application theme, dark. I'm going to then click OK. I'm going to close the program and reopen it. I like dark mode. It's a lot easier on my eyes, but I realize not everybody prefers it. And so this is the brand new version, the brand new updated version. So there might be a few things here that I'm not used to. I haven't used it a ton yet. But in theory, it should be similar to the one before it. Okay, so then you find this screen here. It's in dark mode. Yours might be in light mode. Normal users, that's not us, but normal users would just click on map. And then what would happen is the program would create a map, a starting map. It would create a geodatabase. It would create a folder for you and throw that all in a location for you. That doesn't work very well for us because we are working out of our GIS103 folder. And so we don't want it to continue creating new folders every time we come in here. So we're not going to click on map. We're going to go over here and click on start without template. And that's what we'll always do unless you're opening a map that you've already worked in. This then opens up a blank map. We'll give it some time here. I'm not going to go through the video and speed these parts up because I think that'll make it so that I'll get ahead of you guys if you're following along. And so I think it's better just to let it do its thing. And that way you guys don't have to try to pause and rewind the video if I get ahead of you. Alright, here it is. And so just a little bit of navigation here. It has this right here is where all the mapping will show up. All the layers that will display out here. These here are unfortunately named, I don't think this was the best idea, but they're named panes, P-A-N-E, not P-A-I-N. But this is your contents pane. Sorry, this is cutting it off a little bit here, but this just says new map right here. And I'll always say what the buttons say. So, and then over here, this is called the catalog. Oh, this is a geoprocessing pane. This probably isn't open on yours. And then here's the catalog pane. If it's not over here, check and see if it's along the edge here. You'll see it says catalog along the edge. Just click it and then it comes out. And you can click this cute little push pin if you want it to stay out all the time, which I think I usually, yeah, I think I prefer that. But that's essentially what catalog is it's like File Explorer for Windows where you can look at your files and documents, but it's a GIS version of it. So it shows all the GIS files how they should be shown in GIS. So whenever you're adding data to the map, you need to use this or an Add Data button, which is on the, let's see, which tab is it on? It's on the Map tab. So there's an Add Data button right here. It's grayed out. Okay, so what we have to do now is we have to allow our folders, right here underneath where it says folders, we have to add our folder, okay? Because right now you probably just have this one and that's not going to help any. So we have to tell the software to see our GIS103 folder. So I'm going to right click on folders. And I'm going to click Add Folder Connection. And then I'm going to go to, for me, so you just have to remember where you put that GIS103 folder. For me, it's under this PC, the D drive. Yours might be on your C drive. Mine's on my D drive. And I'm going to go to GIS. I've got a lot of stuff on my computer. I'm going to go to GIS103 2024 for me. And then I'm going to just stop it there. That's as far as I want to go. And so I'm just telling the software, hey, I want to see this folder all the time. And so if you have other folders that have data in them, you can also add them. And so now if I open this up, hit the arrow, I can go down to GIS103 data. And I've got geodatabases, which has nothing in it right now. And I've got shapefiles. So see, these have the green symbol. And just to illustrate the point that I was talking about earlier, you see how these are each a single file? Like this lakes.shp. Well, let's go look at it with File Explorer, which is down here. File Explorer. We go to the same folder, shapefiles. Ah! Look at that. So now if we look at lakes, we've got lakes.cpg, lakes.dbf, lakes.prj, lakes.sbn, .sbx, .shp, .shx. So if I wanted to share this lakes shapefile, that's kind of hard to say. If I wanted to share this lakes shapefile with somebody, I'd have to attach all of these to the email or put them into a folder, zip the folder up and send the folder to them, okay? But you'll see that now in these GIS software, it sees them as one file, okay? So let's go ahead and add, let's right click on our FS roads. These are Forest Service roads. Go to Add to New, and we're going to tell it to create a map right now. So Add to New Map. It's going to then create a map. and add those roads to it, and it's going to probably include 2 background layers as well. So, yep, we got world topographic map and world hillshade. So real quick here, you'll just see that one of those is just a regular map, and the other one, the hillshade, this is a raster layer. It gives it that 3-dimensional look. Okay, and these are coming from Esri. So they're letting us use these. They're pointing to their server. This is stored in my GIS103 folder, okay? And so this map, it doesn't actually contain these data. It's showing that it's pointing to them and then just symbolizing them. But they are living on your computer in your GIS103 folder. That's important to remember. We'll talk about that more. Okay, so let's just talk about navigating around the map. So you can just pan. And look how smoothly that pans. That is really amazing. That it doesn't have to refresh to do that, because that's actually a lot of data. So you can pan. You can use your roller ball or your roller wheel on your mouse to zoom in, zoom out. You can go to the map tab up here and the Explore tool. Visible layers, so you can click the Explore tool. It allows you to pan and then click on things and identify them. So, it's kind of a pan/identify type tool. If you don't like say I was, I had a seizure or something, and I was like that, whoa, like that. You can click the back arrow here to take you back to your previous view. You can click the forward arrow to take you forward to your next view, or the one that you had before that, or you know what I meant. These are fixed zooms, so they zoom in and out, just keeping the center right in the center. Kind of looks like a movie. You can zoom in all dramatically like a movie doing that. This one takes you out to your full extent. Bookmarks. So if you like the way your map looks, you can create a bookmark. And then if you accidentally move it or pan it or get it all screwed up, you can go back to your bookmark. Go to XY. So this is, you can punch in an XY coordinate, and it'll then zoom into that particular XY coordinate. Base maps. These are pretty cool. So if we go, you should have logged in when you signed into your map. It should have had you log in. I'm already logged in here. You see it up here. It says Ethan OIT Geomatics Department. If it doesn't say that up in the upper right, you want to click there and log in using your ArcGIS username and password. Even though this is Pro, you still need it for this to get the full functionality. So if you are signed in, you can then go to base maps, and it'll load up all these base maps that Esri has. And there's some really cool ones in here. This one here, Human Geography Dark Map. I mean, there's just really cool stuff. I mean, look at that. And I can undo my FS roads. I mean, it's just really nice. I love these dark maps. I think they look so nice. So this would be a great background layer if you were making a dark map. Oh, so nice. So awesome. Darth Vader would be proud. So those are the base maps. We can uncheck that. They're coming from Esri. It's funny they say human geography. It's kind of a funny way of putting that. Okay, so let's turn our roads back on. So right now all we have are our roads. And we'll zoom into them, use our roller ball. So you can also do this. You can right click on the layer and click zoom to layer. That's really handy. Okay. And mine is still doing this because of that human geography map being on. It's dark like that. But I'm going to leave it on because I actually like it. That is really easy on my eyes. So you guys don't have to leave it on, but I'm going to. So let's talk about selecting features. So there are 4 ways to select features in GIS, 4 straightforward ways. There's other ways you can do it. But the 4 main ways are, and this will probably end up on a test at some point. So the 4 main ways are to use the select tool. So underneath map, you can go to the select tool, just click it, and you can just straight up click the road like that. You can make a box like that. Look at that. Choo, choo. You can change the method for selecting. By clicking the arrow, you can make a polygon, a lasso. You can be a cowboy. Shoo, just lasso. Look at that. That's the select tool. You end up not actually a circle, a line, trace, a box, circle, boom. Cool. You don't end up using that tool a ton because usually you want to select things more specifically, but it's good to know it's there. And then here's clear selection right here. And so whenever in ArcGIS, whenever you run a process or an analysis, it only runs it on the features that are selected. So before you do that, you should always check this and see if this is not grayed out, because if it's not grayed out, that means you have something selected. And it might just be one little tiny little line segment. So you always want to check on that to make sure that you don't have anything selected. Unless you want to only run it on the selected features, then it's fine. So the select tool is one way. The next way is to select things. Sorry, I have an itch. The next way is to select things in the attribute table. So in GIS, all of these features have a record inside the table that is associated with that feature. And every record in the table has a feature out here that's associated with it. And so if I select something, I'll show you. So I'll select this road, and here, this is good to know too. If I hold Shift when I'm selecting, I can then add to my selection. See how I'm adding? It's not just replacing it. If I let go of Shift and then I click one, it just creates a new selection. Okay? So I'm going to select a few things here. And now if I go into my table, right-click on FS Roads, Attribute Table. You can see down here at the bottom of the table, it says I have 3 out of 6,080 selected. So to see those 3, I could just hunt through this table and find them. Or down here at the bottom of the table, I can click this, which is Show Selected Records. Click that, and you'll see these are the 3. And so if I right-click on one of them, on the number, and I click Flash, see that? It will flash whichever one that one is. And I can also click Zoom to or Pan to. So Zoom to, there's that little road. Okay? And so this is the other way that you can select things. So if I go up here and I click Clear, up top here I click Clear. Now they're gone. See? They're not gone. They're just not selected anymore. So they're still in here. But it says 0 out of 6,080 selected. So this is the other way you can select, is by just clicking the numbers. So if you saw it in the table first, you could select it. And if you want to do more than one, you can hold Control. If you want to do all of the ones in a row, you can hold Shift. So if I click on 4 and I go down to 13 and I hold Shift, it gets all of them. And then I can hold Control and deselect ones out of there if I wanted to. Okay, so let's take a look at the other ways to select features, numbers 3 and 4. And those are up here under the Map tab. And they are All right, so let's take a look now. I closed that table, so let's take a look now at what the other two methods are for selecting features, and they are the most powerful, and they are known as select by attribute and select by location. So just as an example for illustrative purposes, a select by attribute would just be using something out of the table, and select by location would be a spatial relationship that you're using to select with. And so if we had students in the classroom, we would say if we wanted to select all of the students with blonde hair, that would be a select by attribute, because that's something we would store in the table. Or if we wanted to select all of the students sitting on the left side of the room, that would be select by location. And then you can combine the two, so you could start saying, well, select all of the students with blonde hair sitting on the left side of the room. And so learning how to do that's really powerful. You have to start thinking pretty logically. But I think that won't be a problem for us. So let's take a look at those two. So they're up here on the map tab. And I am sorry if I sound tired. I just recorded the rest of this for 40 minutes and then it didn't work. So I am redoing this and I'm kind of not happy about it. So up here we have select by attribute and then we have select by location. So select by attribute, let's go ahead and open that. And we're going to select let's go with the Paisley Ranger District. So we could just go in the table and find Paisley and select it. But what if we had 8,000 records? Or what if we had 25,000 records? Now, if you're paid by the hour, you might want to sit there and go through the table that long. But we're pretending that we are salary employees, and so we want to find the most efficient and economical way of doing everything. And so we click select by attribute. This input rows here, this is asking what are you selecting from? And we're selecting from our row, we're Ranger Districts because we want the Paisley Ranger District, excuse me. Selection type is saying what kind of selection are you doing? We're creating a new selection. You can see here that there's lots of different options. You can remove from selections, add to selections, and you can save your selection expression. If you really used it a lot, you could save it and just throw it in here. And then here it's asking, okay, well, how do you want it to read? Well, this is called an SQL statement. It's made it nice for us and easy to use. You know, if you clicked here, you would see what they looked like normally. But this is making it nice and easy. And so we want where, and in that table we saw that district NA gives us the names. I think either of these would work, but we're going to district NA is equal to, and then you choose Paisley to drop down, excuse me, the Paisley Ranger District. And then we could add another one, but we're going to use this just for now. So we're going to click OK. If you click OK, it applies it and then closes the window. If you click Apply, it just applies it and keeps the window open. So they do the same thing. It just depends whether you want the window to stay open or not. There's the Paisley Ranger District. So to double check our work, we open the attribute table for the Ranger Districts and we should see Paisley selected, and it is. Okay, we can then view just the selected records by clicking down here, and there it is. All right, cool. So now, what if we wanted to select all of the roads that are completely inside these Ranger Districts, okay? All of the roads that are completely inside these Ranger Districts. So first let's clear our selection. So up here we click clear. Because remember, if we don't clear our selection, it's going to operate only on the selected feature. We don't want that. So then we go select by location. Again, input features is saying what are you selecting from? We're selecting from the roads now. Ignore this .gdb. Yours is going to have, or this GDB on the end. Yours is going to have, just say roads. Same thing. It was something I did that got deleted, and I don't want to have to go back through it again. So just ignore that. Use your roads. And we want the ones that are completely within. So the relationship type is going to be completely within. The selecting feature is going to be our ranger districts. We don't have a search distance. That'd be if we wanted to add some more onto it. We could. And we have a new selection. We're creating a new selection. So let's go ahead and apply. And oops, barked at me because I don't have my... Okay, yours probably worked. I have to grab the old set of roads. So hang on a second. Yours probably worked. Okay. I'm going to remove this one so I'm confused. So yours should be selected. Let me rerun mine using the original set of roads. FS roads. Okay. Completely within ranger districts. New selection. Run it. Okay, there they are. So all these roads are completely within. So if you look down here, these ones are not selected because they're not completely within the ranger districts, okay? So let's say, what if we wanted to create a feature class just out of those roads? Well, let's create a geodatabase and put them in there. So to do that, we go to, over here in the file, we go to our GDBs folder underneath GIS103 data. Right click on it. Go to New, File Geodatabase. There's that can of tuna I was talking about. Let's call it week 1 and 2. No spaces. And then to put that in there, we can't just drag and drop things in there. We have to export and import them in. So to do that, since we have these selected, we know that's going to do it just to the selected records. We right click on FS roads, go down to data, export features. And then right here you'll see it has this toggled use the selected records, 5,719 of them. And if we undid that, it would do all the records, but we want that selected. The output is going to go, click the little folder here. It's asking you, hey, where do you want to save the new one? We go down to, sorry, this is kind of weird the way this is set up. So we go down to this PC and data, GIS 2024. Oops, I'm in 307. Hang on, wrong class. GIS 103 2024. Data, geodatabases. Inside that geodatabase, give it a name. These are roads underscore, excuse me, within RD, Ranger Districts. No spaces. Save it. Run it. And then it adds it to the map. You'll see over here inside that geodatabase, we now have stuff. Okay, this is the old one that didn't work. So I'm going to delete that one. And then this is the new one. Did I accidentally put it in the old one? I think I may have. Right click on it. Refresh. Yeah, nothing in there. Okay, hang on. Sorry guys, it just really messed me up in that video, didn't. So I'm going to rerun it here. I'm going to right click on my roads, go down to data. Export. Output. Go back to here. And 2020. Oh, I did it again. How about that? Same mistake twice in a row. Okay, 103. GDBs. Refresh. Okay, I want to recreate the geodatabase then. So your guys has probably worked. Okay, so once that export, I had to do a couple things there because it's still messed up from my thing not recording. But once that exported, now you should see that now all you have are the roads that are completely within. Now don't get confused. This is not the same thing as clipping this and cutting them. If there was a road that crossed here, it would just not be included. So don't, that's why there's a lot of stuff missing up here. So don't get that confused. It's not the same thing as a clip. Now I know that you guys don't know what a clip is yet, but you will. So when we do clip things, don't say, well, I already did that by doing it this way. They're not the same thing, okay? But that's how you create a geodatabase, and that's how you export things into said geodatabase. So you'll see right now I've got that roads layers in there. And so now let's do a little bit fancier analysis. Go ahead and let's take a screenshot here to prove that you guys have made it this far. So we go down here to the Start menu, search for the snipping tool, click New, and then take a screenshot of your map here and make sure that you've got that geodatabase open, showing that you've got the roads and the RD in it. And then go to File, Save As, and save it under your Results folder. Create, if you haven't done this already, create a Week 1, 2 folder underneath your Results folder. So you just right click in the white area, go to New Folder. And then inside that folder, here's some of the old ones that didn't save. Save this in there and call it, let's call it Created Geodatabase, okay? And then we just click Save. And you can close out of it. Okay, so when you zip that folder up and send it to me when assignment 1's due halfway through the term, I can then get in there and see those screenshots, and it proves that you worked along with me here. Okay, let's do something a little bit fancier here. Let's see the level 1 and 3 roads that are inside the Paisley Ranger District, okay? Level 1s and 3s that are inside the Paisley Ranger District. So to do this, we have to use we can just select things, but there's something that I think is even more powerful and more useful, and it's called a definition query. It's one of my favorite things in GIS, and I'm going to stop this video real quick and restart it to make sure that I got this far, and then we'll talk about definition queries, and I'll give you guys as your little assignment at the end here. So, one sec. Okay, so that recording worked, and so we're back at it again. So a definition query, what's different about that is I could tell this just to symbolize the ranger district. So to change the symbols, you just click on a symbol underneath it, left click, and it takes up the symbols here. There's a lot of preset symbols. Over here you can then also go to properties, and you can change the color, the outline color and everything. So I could tell it not to only show the Paisley Ranger District. But what will happen if I do that is in the table, the other Ranger Districts will still exist. And so that doesn't help, okay? It's only for display purposes. But what a definition query does is it tells the software, pretend like this is the only thing that's true. And then it does it until you remove it. And so it's really slick because you can create these intermediate layers and then bring back everything after you're done. And so to do a definition query, we can right click on Ranger Districts and go to Properties, or we can double click it, which I think is better, or faster at least. So we double click ranger districts, and the interested student would say, let's click on definition query. And you'll see here it says new definition query, so we go ahead and click that. Now this is built very similar to the select by attribute, where something is equal to something. So we want where district NA is equal to I clicked district name. Sorry. District NA. I was confused there for a second. Okay, district NA is equal to Paisley. And then we can click apply and then click OK. Boom. Just Paisley. Kind of looks like Massachusetts kind of on its side, huh? Or almost upside down. Let's take a screenshot of this one and save it in there. So start menu, snipping tool, and I'm going to stop telling you how to do this here in a second. Take the screenshot of just the Paisley Ranger District, go to File, Save As, name it Paisley_RD, and then click Save. Okay, I'm going to cancel out of mine because I already did it. And now, if we want to do the 1s and the 3s, let's go ahead and uncheck our roads within the Ranger Districts and just use the FS roads again, the original layer. Clear our selection. And now we are going to, we want just the 1s and 3s, right? So to do that, we can go to select by attribute because it's in the table. Select by attribute. And we are going to selecting from not the ranger districts but the roads. Selection type is a new selection. The expression, we have to uncheck this SQL thing here to get back to the original one. Maybe, if it'll let me. Okay, well, let me delete all this. And now uncheck it. Okay, that was weird. Okay. Where opermate is equal to 1. Now here's where people get stuck, okay? This is really important. I'm going to add another one because we want the 3s as well. And we can't just go equal to or less than 3 because it'll include the 2s. So you could do that and then remove the 2s from the selection. But I think it's easier to do it this way. So we're going to add a clause. And here is where people get stuck, is they use and instead of or. We want or because if we choose and, that's saying both of these have to be true in order for it to select anything. And there's never going to be a record where a road is a 1 and a 3. Okay, it's either or. So if I wanted and, I could do, students that are over 6 feet tall and have brown hair. Then I would use and because I want both those things to be true and they're in different fields in the table. Okay, but we're going to the same field, so we want to make sure we use or. And so then we go back to opermate. Is equal to 3. So it's going to look in the table and see if it says it's a 1 or if it's a 3, it's going to select them both. Click apply or click OK. There they are. So now if we want the ones that are only intersecting the Paisley Ranger District, we can go back into select by location. We're selecting from the roads. Okay. That intersect, the selecting feature is the Ranger Districts, which right now only has Paisley which that's why this is toggled here. Use selected features. It's considering the definition query to be a selection. That's fine. This is new, actually. You used to not have this option. And then there's no search distance. It's not a new selection. Okay, it's not a new selection. We want to select from the selection. So it's not adding to it. It's not removing from it. It's selecting a subset from the current selection, from our 1s and 3s. And then we click OK. And there they are. And to do a little check here, we can open up the table for the roads. We can go to the operate field. And we can right click. Now we're going to look at just the selected ones. Okay, so let's go back and look just selected. And then we're going to right click on operate and sort ascending. They're just 1s, starting at 1s. Sort descending, and they're ending at 3s. So I know there's no 4s and 5s in there, so that's a good sign that we did it right. Now I could go back and check and make sure there's no 2s in there as well, but I want to get this out to you guys. So now your assignment is 2 things. Three things. Take a screenshot of this and save it in the results folder. Okay, what we've done here. Then save, like we did earlier, save these selected roads as a new feature class in that same geodatabase. So you have to go back and figure that out if you don't remember how to do that. And call them roads 2s and 3s inside Paisley. No spaces, remember. And then do a second one where you're doing anything 2s and below. So 1s and 2s that are inside the Klamath Ranger District and the Chemalt Ranger District. Okay? So we want to do a definition query that shows both Klamath and Chemalt, and then use that to select the 1s and 2s. Okay? So the 1s and 2s that are inside both the Klamath and the Chemalt Ranger Districts. And then do a screenshot of that and put that in your results folder, and then you're done. So to recap what we learned how to do, we learned the methods of selecting features. We learned select by location, select by attribute. We also learned how to do statements in there, where this is equal to that, and so forth. We learned how to add to selections, how to clear selections. We learned a definition query, how to create a geodatabase, and how to export features into that geodatabase or also import them into the geodatabase. And so got several things here, but it's like a cake. We keep building on it, so make sure you understand what we're doing really well so far. If you want me to check something for you, you can always send it to me. I'll check it out. Or if you have questions, something wasn't working, let me know. But whew, we made it through that. This covers, if you're traveling, trying to travel on time here, this covers week 1 and week 2, which I know it's like technically 2 and 3, but this week and next week. And I know that some of the things in here say 2024. If this is for a future class in 2025 or 2026, hey, how's the future? But sometimes I like to try to get a couple years out of these videos because they do take a long time to record. So don't freak out because mine says 2024. Yours should be the same in 2025 or whatever. Okay. Save those. You'll want to save your map if you go up to project. Save as, save project as, and then you will save it. What I did is underneath, see, I've already done this because it didn't record. So if I go back to my GIS103 2024 folder, I created a new folder by right-clicking, clicking folder. And I called it map documents with an underscore. And I saved this map document inside there, week 1 and 2 is what I called it, okay? And then you should be able to close out of it. And then we'll pick this one up next time. So I'll reopen that map document and we'll keep working from there. There's the recording software. So thank you guys for your patience. We'll make it. We'll persevere. They cannot hold us down. And I will see you guys on the next lab, in the next lab. As I always have to say at the end here, laters on the Minjay.
Latest on the Minjay.